In this video, I'm going to talk about how we can finally beat the short sellers by using the US Watcher 4-step counterstrike. I'd also like to talk about the other court action that GNS is taking against short sellers. The tweet from Kristen says that the US Observer counterattack can save your business. She went on, in a savage, cutthroat jungle of financial markets. Public companies are ruthlessly hunted by a vicious 4-step assault, crafted to annihilate their value and hurl them into bankruptcy. The US Observer breaks it down to show how they can beat the short sellers in each of those 4 steps, which is exactly what they are doing now. So it says that this vicious cycle starts with naked short selling, which is a horrible and illegal act that floods the market with fake shares. This is then followed by hateful smear campaigns, foolish class action lawsuits, and finally regulatory pylons that cause a lot of damage. It says that this destruction is planned by greedy hedge funds, short-selling vultures, short research firms like the now-defunct Hindenburg Research, and greedy lawyers who want to get rich while issuers and shareholders suffer. The only lifeline that can break this loop at every stage is the US Observer. Led by CEO Michael Quayle, who has a battle-hardened 30-year track record, it also says they say they can stop 80% of these attacks right away, often in secret to protect people's privacy, by exposing fraud and false claims and bringing officials like the SEC, Department of Justice, and FINRA to the real criminals. So, it makes sense that it explains short selling. We already know how short selling works. The US Observer says they will go after these market-draining short sellers with great accuracy, breaking down trade data to find illegal shorting and even the hedge funds that are doing it. Next, we use the fear of exposure that our national newspaper provides. About 80% of the time, the wrongdoing short hedge funds stop their harmful actions. When we tell them that the SEC and FINRA will have to take action against them if they don't, as Overstock.com shows, their quick action also often keeps stock prices stable. We are then told more about the lies that short sellers use, which we already knew about. How quickly do study groups like Hindenburg researchers often put out false reports accusing businesses of fraud or bad management, saying that this kind of vicious slander often destroys innocent companies? Of course, they can't protect themselves because the share price has dropped so sharply, which often leads to bankruptcy. The US Observer says that they destroy those false reports correctly and in a cruel way, launching strong responses that show the bad intentions of the short sellers and restore investor confidence. As an example, Tesla is able to weather attacks from short sellers because they are honest and persistent, even though it costs them a lot to do so. Also talked about are the fake or fraudulent class action cases that happen when share prices go down, and how those companies can fight back against them to help the companies that are being sued. No, I do not wish to read each and every word in this text. Last but not least, they talk about the regulatory pillars that get hit with big SEC fines when these core companies do wrong, which makes them even more lose money. On the other hand, they also explain how they can help companies escape these SEC fines, especially when the companies are acting legally and not cheating. It makes sense that Kristen is talking about the article in the US Observer in this post, which also has a link to the US Observer Twitter account. I have nothing to do with US Observer, just so you know. I have nothing to do with the US Observer, and I'm not getting paid by anyone to make this movie. It looks like a great idea for my business and me, or for our whole neighborhood. I believe that more research needs to be done to find out if the US Observer can really help companies like GNS, MMTLP, AMC, GameStop, and many others escape naked shorting. I will, of course, give you a link to this article so that you can read it and do your own study. I think it sounds great. Sure, let me know what you think. To repeat what I said before, I'd really like it if we could work together to do more study. Almost no one saw how fast the race between the US and China to develop new technologies would pick up speed. In the year 2025, the tech race is already spreading to new areas. It's mainly in automation, AI, and humanoid robots, which you may not have thought of before. Humanoid robots are seen as the next big thing that will change logistics, manufacturing, military, and the way people work in the future by both China and the US. One of the biggest changes in technology in history is just getting started. As we can see right now, robots that look like people will only make up 0.2% of the world's robotics market by the end of 2025, but the rate of progress is quickly picking up. Some of the most experienced, strategic investors in the world are becoming interested in the businesses that are beginning to grow in this new ecosystem. That's why I'm telling you this. Today's video sponsor is linked to this next wave of technology. Humanoid Global Holdings, which trades on the over-the-counter market under the code RBHF. It's one of the few public companies that has exposure to the early stages of the humanoid robotics sector. As you may not know, RBHF can be found on many sites, such as Interactive Brokers, Charles Schwab, Fidelity, E-Raid, and many more. Instead of trying to make robots itself, Humanoid Global has put a lot of money into some of the most promising businesses in the humanoid ecosystem. Retail buyers usually can't get into these businesses because they are private, but Humanoid Global provides an indirect way in. I'm going to talk about 5 private companies that are in their portfolio today. Agility Robotics won first place. NVIDIA and Amazon's Industrial Innovation Fund helped the company make Digit, which is one of the first commercially available upright humanoid robots. Uptronic, the company that made Apollo, a humanoid robot that can do many things, comes in second place. Uptronic is backed by Mercedes-Benz and Google. Once more, Humanoid Global lets people know about this business that is growing quickly. Redeskin comes in at number 3, and How2 Robot comes in at number 4. AI is being used by Ridcan to build a safety and efficiency platform for self-driving robots. How2 Robot is also an international online market that connects businesses that want to automate their processes with verified robotic solution providers. This makes it faster for robots to be used in dozens of different industries. Finally, Formic comes in at number 5. It is a robotics-as-a-service provider that helps small and medium-sized businesses afford automation through a subscription plan. Mitsubishi HC, Capital America, and Lux Capital back Formic. So, guys, don't forget to check out Humanoid Global Holdings. It trades on the over-the-counter markets right now under the code RBHF. But let's also talk about GNS and what else they're doing. Like the cases they're filing against trading platforms, hedge funds, and short sellers, Roger Hamilton says that GNS has now hired Mark Basil to take civil action against Vanguard, Fidelity, Robinhood, and Charles Schwab. All of these companies have, of course, turned off the GNS buy button as of this writing, which makes it much harder to buy GNS stock. You can use the app to sell your shares, but you have to do a lot of complicated paperwork and make a lot of tough phone calls in order to buy GNS shares. It looks like these companies are actively helping short sellers by stopping regular people from buying shares in an effort to bring down the price of those shares. Kristen also tweeted that Griffin might be in trouble again because he is desperately trying to sell one of his properties by lowering the price of his last Magmile trophy pad to try to find a buyer at Park Tower. The story says that the condo at 800 North Michigan Avenue is now on the market for $12.5 million, which is a big drop from July, when it was taken off the market for $3.25 million to $25 million. Ken Griffin has clearly moved all of his assets to Florida, as his last home in Chicago has now sold for a very low price. Over the past few years, he has taken out many more loans for Citadel and even sold shares in Citadel to other companies. He also sold another one of his penthouses for 44% less than it was worth. Of course, I had already talked about this subject at that time. We were all very interested in the fact that Citadel and Ken Griffin were moving all of their assets to Florida. Lastly, I read this really interesting piece by Stephanie that had a video of Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan talking about the early 2023 banking problem. Jamie Dimon says in this video that the SEC can look at what specific people do with options, derivatives, and short sells. If someone is working together to hurt a bank or posting negative things about it, the SEC should go after them hard and punish them as much as the law allows. Jamie Dimon is clearly saying that the SEC should only go after short sellers who short banks. It's interesting that she says the SEC can look into specific short sales by name. They choose to ignore what's going on. It's clear that this needs to be fixed, but as usual, you follow the rules and we don't. So, guys, don't forget to check out Humanoid Global Holdings. It trades on the over-the-counter markets right now under the code RBHF. But, as always, I hope you enjoyed this movie. In that case, please tell me what you think in the space below. If you want to know whenever I post a new movie, please hit the notification bell and subscribe to the channel